All right. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to the first Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission meeting of 2022. I hope everyone had a great holiday. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for the year. But let's get down to business, and then we can do our communications, and everyone can update us on what's going on. I call to order the February 1st meeting of the City of West Sacramento City Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission meeting at 6:01 p.m. Pursuant to the Governor Executive Order N-29-20, members of the West Sacramento Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission and staff will participate in this meeting via a teleconference. To reduce the spread of COVID-19, members of the public are asked to watch the meeting telecast on Wave Cable Channel 20 and to have submitted comments in writing by 5 p.m. on December 7th, 2021. City Clerk, could you please call attendance roll? I hope I wasn't on mute for that entire thing. Okay.
We heard you.
All right.
Sorry.
That's
Can
okay.
you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ahmad?
Present.
Commissioner Altamirano? I see Commissioner Altamirano. I think you're muted. Need a verbal.
Here. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem. Commissioner Castro? Commissioner Castro, nothing. And Commissioner Horowitz?
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Schatzel?
Here.
Chair Dan?
I am here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Fantastic. Thank you. So that brings us to item 1A, which is presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of this council. And as a reminder to those watching and to the commission, matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of this commission are prohibited by law from discussing issues not on the agenda that are brought to us. The city clerk did distribute a public comment in writing. Can I ask for clarification? Am I to read that, or is that to be read to us, or is the person present in the meeting to speak on that?
I don't believe that person is present. There is a number in the list that I'm not recognizing, but as far as I know, that was just in writing. We don't usually read them out loud during the meeting. It will be posted to the website. Usually it's posted by the time I send it to you, but I was having technical issues this evening getting it up. So that will be up first thing in the morning to the public. That was on item number 4. One comment on item number 4.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so then we will proceed to item 1B, which is Commissioner Communications. Let me jump over to the Zoom meeting. Do any commissioners have any communications they'd like to share with the commission? Vice Chair Reed, is that a hand or a clap?
It's meant to be a hand.
Okay.
I think so. But bravo, a great opening.
Thank you.
I just got off of a meeting about the West Sacramento Climate Action Plan. And one of the issues that we discussed is outreach and engagement among people who want to participate in that process. So I hope that Parks and Recreation, which, our facilities and amenities can be part of the solution in terms of climate change and tree canopy cover and the other things that we do, as well as our work with the aging and adult community. So I'm hoping that just by mentioning this and hopefully having it in the meeting, in the minutes, that various of us can follow the process and encourage those folks that we communicate with and the people in our communities to participate. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts on that, Vice Chair Reed. It's appreciated.
Yeah, I think you'll have to ask the staff about that.
Well, input from the community, I think, is important, and I think it's great to recognize that the city and staff is making those efforts to include everybody too. So
very much so, and this is an area that involves our businesses and our nonprofit organizations as well. So in terms of any of the transformation that work that we do and equity work and dealing with our more vulnerable population members, then we're kind of all in this together. So I hope we engage and come up with a good plan. Thank you.
any communications from other commissioners? All right, I'll be brief. I'll share kind of what I've been up to. Little League is in full force. I was elected as their president this year, which a little stressful, but I think we're going to make it work. There's a few obstacles we've been, working through with COVID. It's permeated into every little bit of life. In the ability to get uniforms even shipped at this point, licensing issues and ability to ship them with the teams. So we're working hard on that. Myself and some members of the Little League board got to meet in person with some city staff and our new, apologies if I get the title wrong, superintendent. Is that correct? Yes, our new superintendent, Jason, and I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Puopolo? Popolo. Jason Popolo. Okay. I'll just remember it like Jimmy Garoppolo. So we got to meet with our new superintendent, again, along with city staff, and we were really excited about what's to come there in terms of not just Little League play fields, but our parks, our park conditions, as well as other programmed fields for city programming. I think over time, I think it's important to state that this change or this revolution, this new approach, however we want to call it, will take a little bit of time. But I think over time, our community will start to see a new look, and I think that's really exciting. For a lot of reasons. As we drive around West Sacramento, parks are, I think, a point of pride for everyone. And so I'm really excited to see, kids playing on fresh fields that are in great shape and that's just part of it, but there's a lot of new, I think, things that are going to be happening in that area. So we're really excited about it. The league, I'm excited about it as a parks commissioner to see this. So welcome, Jason, to your first commission meeting. Is that right?
Yeah.
So welcome. Thank you for joining us. I have a blast on this commission. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's very rewarding to kind of have input and provide feedback. And I think the staff is really good at what they do in terms of pursuing grants, presentations. Everything. It's really kind of a top-notch thing. So I'm really proud to be a part of this, and I think it's a lot of fun. So welcome. But that's what's been going on with me, really. I've been full force doing that for, I think, since November. It's been almost nonstop. But our season starts March 12th for everyone watching. That's when the first game will be played. Tryouts will be held for the upper divisions on February 5th and February 12th at the Alice Norman Playfields. You can check out the West Sacramento website, which is our West Sacramento Little League website, which is WestSacLL for Little League, westsacll.org. And you can get all your information there, as well as you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Didn't mean to plug, but that's what's going on. All right. So we will move on to, let me change my screen to item number 2. Is that right? Which will be a presentation on programs, classes, and special events at the Recreation Center. Is that 2022 or
21.
it's 21? So it's kind of what we've done, like history, I think.
Correct.
Of the events at the Rec Center, and that'll be by our very own Paul Reyes.
Thank you. Lizzie, are you able to put up share your screen? Thank you, Lizzie. Good evening, commissioners and Chair Jan. My name is Paul Reyes, Recreation Manager. The Recreation Center team is excited to be here tonight to present an update on programs, classes, and special events at the Recreation Center in 2021. While masks are required indoors, it's been very challenging this past year, specifically participation and hiring of part-time staff. But staff have been working very hard on implementing a variety of quality programs in a fun and safe environment. Because of the pandemic, the Recreation Center closed March 16, 2020. We provided online virtual exercise classes and sports videos for pass holders to keep them connected and engaged. The Recreation Center reopened in August 2020 with outdoor programs such as classes and lap swim. We implemented programs based on the Roadmap to Recovery tiered system by following the CDPH, California Department of Public Health, and Yolo County guidelines. Next slide, please. As you can see, a typical calendar year was in 2019. Almost 14,000 passes sold and close to 132,000 check-ins at the Recreation Center. Participants and families attending league games such as basketball and volleyball are not included in attendance because they do not check in as pass holders. In 2020, 4,569 passes sold and 27,860 checked into the Recreation Center. In 2021, over 4,300 passes sold and over 36,800 checked into the Recreation Center. The numbers in 2020 and 21 differ because when we closed in 2020, we froze all accounts. And it wasn't until until 2021 when participants started to reactivate their passes. We owed passes to participants, so our attendance and passes sold reflects that in 2021. I'm very proud of the Rec Center team under the current circumstances to continue to create, develop, and implement and provide quality programs, classes, and special events in a safe environment. The Recreation Center team will provide a program update from their area. Thank you, and I'd like to introduce Recreation Supervisor Lizzie Hughes.
Hi, I'm Liz Hughes. I'm Recreation Supervisor in charge of aquatics and special events. So and a little bit about me, I actually started full-time here with the city of West Sacramento, actually in September of 2021. So some of this is what I came into, and just Paul has given me history on what happened for summer of 2021. So like you said, we reopened in August of 2020. With that, we reopened with lap swim. Lap swim was we reserve per lane, essentially per hour for 50 time slots. During those time slots, you got your 50 minutes. After that 50 minutes, our staff were wiping down handrails, just general facility cleanliness in between sessions, and to allow pass holders from one time slot to not overlap as much with the next time slot. And we are still continuing to do that today, is the reservation by lane. So as well as in 2021, we did have recreation swim. It was June 5th through August 29th. What that was, we did Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, two time slots per day, with limited capacities. I believe it was about 150, 175. And again, the time slots allowed for a 30-minute break in between so that we could clean the facility for the next time slot. And then we were able to also offer swim lessons. They were very different than what you've seen in the past. So instead of 5 or 6 kids per class with 10 to 15 classes going on at each time slot, it was more of 3 to 4 kids per class and only somewhere between 5 to 10 kids classes per time slot. We were spaced out as much as possible throughout the different pools, as well as instructors, if they could teach out of the water, if it was an older class, then they taught out of the water. If it was a younger class and they needed to be, do hold or be closer than 6 feet, our instructors did wear masks with the participants. And hopefully we will continue to grow swim lessons and bring swim lessons back as we continue to, progress through COVID, but still consider keeping the COVID restrictions in mind. All right, so the next one with aquatics is our Soggy Doggy event. So we did 2 this year, one in September, one in April, and then one in September. So in April, both of them you did reserve your time slot as well. So it was a pre-registration kind of thing. So we did see increase in participation in the second one versus the first one. I think that also kind of shows where we were at in the stages of COVID with the different variants and how comfortable people were with coming outside. And we still plan to do Soggy Doggy again this April and hopefully do a second one after the summer closes. Also, this past October, we were able to bring back, this is the second year that we did our Safe Trick or Treat Street. That takes place in the high school parking lot as well as the rec center parking lot. It's a drive-through event where participants are able to, if they wanted to, dress up their car for a car contest, and then go through all the different booths and stations and collect candy through their car window to be, continue to be as safe as possible. And we did have about 250 cars come through for this event. So pending how COVID changes or evolves, we may do it this style again for 2022, but we will keep everyone posted on what happens. As well as one that's not on here, but I did want to let you guys know that we are going to be kind of co-hosting our spring celebration and the Earth Day celebration. Those are going to be a combined event this year. We are going to do that at Wright Park on April 16th. So it's the Saturday before Easter. Myself and the recycling team are working on that event, collaborating, getting volunteers, booths, vendors, the whole thing. So that will happen this year. We did unfortunately take a break for 2020 and 2021. But we are excited to bring it back for 2022. The other area I am in charge of is our teen after school program. And this program is for high school students to come right after school. They come over, we do lots of different things on Mondays. That is when we have our Rocks and Ropes Club. Basically, that is a strong group of high school kids that enjoy rock climbing. And right now we have a solid group that are attending. From the numbers can range from participants up into 20 participants. As well as we were able to take the teens on a little field trip in this past, literally, I think it was 2 weeks ago, to a different type of rock climbing place called the Boulder Field. So they could experience different handholds, a different atmosphere, and to do things other than just our rock wall. So yes, on Mondays they do rock climbing. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do different games, as well as they do strength training with Jake and Brianna. As well as with this program, we do collaborate with the high school in the sense that the high school does provide snacks for the kids. So I go over there and pick it up for them and have snacks throughout the program. And this runs, it's 3:40, so right after school, so 3:45 until 5 o'clock. as well as we've coordinated with the school to have the activities bus pick up at 5 o'clock as well, so the kids could have a ride home if they need it. So I think that's it from me. I'm going to pass it off to sports.
Great, thanks, Liz. Good afternoon or good evening, commissioners. My name is Chris Fossag, and I'm the Recreation Supervisor for Adult Youth Sports. First off, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share with you all the wonderful programs our athletics department has to offer for our community. I have to say it's been an honor to be a part of the athletics department the past 15 years and being directly in charge of it the past 8. This past year, we were tasked with the challenge of bringing back programs after they were shut down for the past year due to COVID-19. I can say it did have its ups and downs, bring back the programs, but we're excited to say that all our sports programs are back and running. So we offer both adult and youth sports programs. I'm going to go ahead and start with the adult sports, and then our athletics coordinator, Dion, will go ahead and talk about the youth sports programs. First up is our adult softball league. This was the first program that we felt comfortable bringing back since COVID. It was the easiest one to start back up because it was played outside. It was played at Bright Park, and it also had very little contact with participants. We ended up with 24 teams the first season back, and ended up with another 46 teams in the summer league. The softball league typically runs 2 seasons a year. We offer both the men's and co-ed division. Games are played throughout the weeknight. Next up is our adult flag football league. This was the second outside adult sports program that we brought back. We were able to bring this program back in August. We had 12 teams participate. The games are typically played on Sundays, Bright Park. This league is typically runs 3 seasons a year, with our spring season usually being the largest. We're hoping this next spring to get between 16 to 20 teams. Go ahead and change the slide. Our largest adult league is our adult basketball league. This program is a regional draw. We have teams from all over the region that play in it. Prior to COVID, we typically averaged between 40 and 60 teams each season. This program is a year-round program with 4 seasons. All the games are played on Sundays at the Recreation Center and River City High School. This league has been so popular through the years, we've had former and current NBA and WNBA players play in the league. This program was the last adult sports program that we got started since COVID, since it was played indoors, and all participants, officials, and staff were required to wear masks. We did have a number of participants that were really, asking us all during COVID, when are you going to bring back the adult basketball league? When are you going to bring it back? And we just basically had to tell them, if we want to bring back this league, the requirement's going to be you're going to have to wear a mask while you're playing. There was some hemming and hawing about it, but now we're actually about to wrap up our second season. And I have to say, it hasn't been easy on the players, but they've done the best they can with wearing their masks while playing. And then next up we have is our adult volleyball league. This is also an indoor program where we do require our participants to wear masks. This one wasn't as hard of a task for the participants. They're just really excited to get back to playing. With this program, we typically have between 25 to 30 teams each season. This program also runs year-round with 4 seasons. We offer multiple divisions, and the games are played on Tuesday and Thursday evenings at the Recreation Center. And our last program that we offered in the past and hoping to bring back this year is our adult soccer league. That program runs on Sundays, and we either run that program at Bright Park or Bridgeway Lakes. When we do run this program, it typically runs 2 seasons a year. And for adult sports, that's it. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Dion to talk about our youth sports programs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dion. I'm the youth and adult sports coordinator. And the first program that we brought back youth-wise was Junior Giant. It looked a lot different than it normally does. A normal season has games every Saturday at Alice Norman with practices and about 300 participants. And we're hoping that this summer We're hoping that this summer we're going to be able to get back to that. But last year we had to switch to running 4 different clinics, one every other Saturday in June and July. And the clinics focused on fundamentals, sportsmanship, and teamwork for the kids. And we had about 80 participants. And we also had 10 volunteers. This program is ran a lot with the volunteers. So they were super good and they made it very easy. And the kids had a great time with it, even though the numbers were a little limited in comparison to previous years. The next program is NFL flag. And we had 156 players in this one. And it was across ages 5 to 14, 16 teams in 3 divisions. And we had 40 volunteer coaches who did a fabulous job with it. And those games are played Saturdays at Bridgeway Lake. The next is Junior NBA. This program just started. It came back on January 15th was the set return date, but due to the surge in COVID-19, we postponed it to January 22nd. So we just finished our second Saturday, actually. We have 656 players in this one across the ages 5 to 14 with 100 volunteer coaches. All participants, parents watching the games, and coaches are required to wear masks indoors. And also because of the surge of COVID-19, we canceled our indoor practices during the week and we moved them outdoors an hour prior to their game on Saturdays with the hope that this is going to limit the spread, because the last thing we want to do is for the season to have any hiccups. And we felt this was the best way for them to get through the season safely. And then the last program is sports camp. We had 471 kids in this program, and it was a weekday camp, Monday through Friday for 8 weeks in the summer. And it provided the children with activities between sports games. They play a lot of dodgeball. They really like that. They really like basketball and soccer. Those were their 3 favorite activities. And then on Fridays, we take them out to the pool and they get to swim with the help of the lifeguards. And then the only program that's not listed is Teen Hoop, which will be back March 19th. And that one has 10 teams and 100 participants. I'll pass it back to Chris.
All right, thanks, Dion. Yeah, and it's great and exciting to have all our youth programs back. It's been quite the challenge, but it's good to see all the kids out there again. There's a couple other areas I want to bring up that are part of our athletics department. The first thing is our tennis program. We do have adult and youth tennis lessons that we run year round at the Recreation Center. We have an outstanding coach in Dave Brooks. He's been our instructor for years, ever since the Recreation Center has been open, and all the participants love him. And we also, the other exciting thing about our tennis program is we're going to be getting tennis lights for the courts here at the Recreation Center. So with the lights, we're going to be looking to expand our tennis program with leagues, special events, and tournaments in the future. So we're really looking forward to that. And then the last thing is, and I know some of you guys on the commission know about this, is our year-round responsibility of the athletic field rentals. Not only do we work with groups within our athletic roundtable, but we have many outside groups that rent our fields throughout the year. It can definitely be a challenge at times finding places for all the teams, but I feel like we do a pretty good job of working it out and making accommodations for everybody, so everybody can be out there sharing the field. Excuse me. And with that, in closing, I'd just like to say how fortunate I am to live and work in the West Sacramento community. It's been great building all the partnerships through all the years, with all of us having the same common goal of serving our community. My staff in the athletics department who keep these programs running day to day have done an outstanding job. I have to say all the wonderful volunteers in this community, including all of you on this commission. If it wasn't for all of you and the staff, we wouldn't have such successful adult and youth sports program. And I have to say I'm especially thankful for all the hard work that we've all done during these COVID times to get our kids back playing sports. It's been great seeing all the smiles on our kids' faces while they're playing all their favorite sport. And that's it for me. And with that, hand it over to Jake.
Thank you very much, Chris. Good evening, commissioners, and thank you so much for the opportunity to share some of the exercise portions of the rec center in our program with me this evening. Like Chris said, my name is Jake Conkle. I am the exercise and wellness coordinator at the Recreation Center. I want to start off by sharing our group exercise program. Like when Paul mentioned, when we closed back in March of 2020, we actually closed at, I believe it was 2 p.m. On March 16th. And then at 4 p.m. March 16th, we ran our first virtual class. Being prepared for that, seeing it coming along, we jumped at the opportunity to have a class ready to go because we knew our main thing that we wanted to do, our number one goal was to remain in touch with our community and stay in contact with them. So that was one of our huge things that we had starting off with the pandemic. I also want to start about our virtual classes that we began with in 2020, also to give a special thanks to all of our group exercise instructors. Without them, without those independent contractors, they are the ones that made all of our classes the high quality that they are. So I want to give them a huge thanks to being the integral part of our program. So we started offering about 5 virtual classes a week, 1 a day, Monday through Friday, through a Facebook group called the West Sacramento Wellness Club. And we just basically had instructors post videos on there or do Facebook Live classes, and people would follow along. And people were very interested in them, but as time went on through the pandemic, interest started to drop down, and it just wasn't sustainable in that way. But when Paul mentioned, when we reopened back in August 2020, we began bringing those same classes that we offered on via virtual on Facebook, and we brought them to the rec center. We did everything outside and made sure we had everything distanced. We actually started our first several classes. We're actually on the tennis court to make sure that we had ample room for everybody. At the time, we limited our classes to about 15 participants to ensure that we had ample room for everybody. And we still do a reservation system for our classes via our website. Today, here in 2022, we've expanded our number of classes that we offer. We are now moved from 5 to 14 classes a week that we offer, ranging from a studio bar class, a core spin classes, simple stretch, total strength, yoga, and Zumba, and with our maximum capacity of up to 15. Again, to make sure that we ensure we have plenty of space for people in our classes. During the winter months, we have moved some of our lower impact type classes or less cardio inducive type classes to inside, but we do require masks to be worn while inside. That's mainly due to the cold weather outside and making it difficult for people to warm up and enjoy the classes fully. So classes such as yoga, bar, and our simple stretch classes. But again, with masks on inside. So again, thank you to all of our instructors for making our program as quality as it is. The next thing that we have here, we began a process of purchasing new cardio and weight equipment for our cardio room. We began the process before the pandemic and continued through the RFP process once the pandemic hit, with vetting different vendors. And when we now have, once we got them selected, our new equipment did arrive in May of 2021 with 28 new cardio pieces, along with 9 of those were 9 matrix ride spin bikes for our spin classes, which are great pieces of technology and really engaging for the user. We also have replaced 5 of our strength machines that are multifunctional, which they don't only just work one exercise, they can do 2 or even up to 4 exercises. So maximizing the space utilization as much as we can. With the pandemic, as we all know, we are asked to keep masks on while inside, especially for our cardio room and people working out. But we did want to have some options for people that may not enjoy working out with a mask on, have difficulties breathing and want to stay healthy and active, but with having the mask on inside was not a good option for them. We kept a couple of pieces of equipment outside for people to come in and they can exercise outside without masks on. We took special precautions to make sure that pieces weren't very close to each other, that they are angled away from each other, to make it as safe and enjoyable as possible. The next thing I'd like to share with you is our personal training program. We are doing these one-on-one located inside and outside, just depending on the needs of the client. And again, while inside, we do exercise with our masks on. I just want to give a special thanks to one of our trainers, our trainer Marcella, who primarily works with the older adult population, and the amount of work and effort she took to make the safety precautions and take extra care for her clients that are more at risk. So it was great to have her part of our team. As far as program goes, we have people interested in coming back. It's slow to develop. We are a little bit light on our contractors, but we are actively recruiting and looking to expand that program further. Earlier, towards the end of 2021, we also implemented a new small group training series called Training for Life. It's on 2 days a week, and it is a small group training session of up to 9 people that allows the participant to get the extra one-on-one attention and progression and coaching and skill development in a small group setting. And those include different aspects of strength and conditioning training, as well as cardio vascular training as well. We run those 2 days a week. Newer approach that we're taking with it. So we're looking forward to expanding and adding more sessions throughout the week and making that more readily available. One of the things that I'm very proud of with our programs are we have something for everybody, whether you're brand new to the gym or have been coming for a long time. We have something for everybody. And we can have those same people in the same classes, whether you have been coming to one of our instructors' tattoos classes for years, or if it's your first day. Our instructors are very skilled in being able to help the new people stay along, but while still making things challenging and interesting for those who've been coming for a long time. And again, it's their great part of our team. Towards the end of 2021, some of the special events that we did and specialty programs, things that we have going on. You want to go to the next page for me there, Liz? We held something called, I don't think it's on that one. Oh well, we'll get to it. But we had something called the Turkey Try event. There it is. Yeah, that's the one. We held the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Just kind of getting people back into the swing of things after the holiday. My tagline was first you gobble, then you wobble. But we had a great time. We had 18 participants in that, and we used a combination aspect of a strength and conditioning workout with, and then also using our new spin bike, and then having our participants jump in the lap pool and swim as many laps as they can. It was a lot of fun, and we had a score sheet and had a participant compete for the top prize, which was mostly for bragging rights, but everyone had a great time. Special events like this, and we had great feedback from our participants saying they want to do things like this more often, and we're absolutely looking to implement more of this style of specialty workout, specialty classes in the future. So super proud of that one as well. Another thing that we added on there, you can go to that next one, Liz, and the one after that. There you go. Prior to the pandemic, we had something that we had kind of started. We had started building an adult rock climbing scene. For those of you that may have not been to the rec center before, we have a 33-foot, 360-degree rock wall, along with a boulder And so, like Liz mentioned with using the teams for the rock climbing club, we took kind of that same idea. We're like, well, what if we had this regularly available for our members as well? Prior to the pandemic, we had a little bit of a climbing culture, climbing group starting to develop. And then once we were closed inside, it kind of went to the wayside. But as of recently, we have brought back this climbing club, and we've actually added now, it says on here Mondays and Saturdays, but now we have a third day of Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays where people can come in and practice their climbing skills. Great social time as well with everybody, and it's just a different type of exercise for them. And it's a great time for everybody there. And the last thing, kind of a general thing that we have here, these images that you're seeing on here, these are all formatted for the special digital displays that we have around the rec center. Prior to the pandemic, we had these installed, and they're a great way to share not just program content, but also educational content, motivational content as well. As you can see, for like an educational one, we have a vitamin C one, or featured vitamin, just sharing some information, and that gives people, the opportunity to learn something new, and maybe that could be something they could implement for themselves and they become healthier of it. But also sharing messages of reminding people of facility rules in a nice, kind way, help reduce germs, wipe equipment after use, everything like that. And then little gentle reminders that we do have childcare open on Saturdays, and also announcing some of our programs as well, like the climbing club. So as far as that goes, that's all I have to share. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to give it back to Paul Reyes.
Thank you, Tim. Great job. Are there any questions from the commission?
I don't see any questions. Oh, Vice Chair Reed, go ahead.
You're on mute.
I apologize. Regarding the Earth Day event, I would like to suggest that if that could be also coordinated with the folks in environmental services that are creating the climate action plan, it would be a great opportunity for outreach and education for everyone that was involved and engaged there. And I think that there are a lot of folks and organizations within the city that are active in, for instance, the urban farm program and the mobile market that you're aware of, et cetera, that could be part of that activity. And so I would recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not my dog. Not this time. So I would recommend that liaison with your colleague.
Okay, I will definitely reach out to the other person, the other members of the community, the committee that I'm on for this big event. So I will definitely reach out to them, and hopefully we can get them added.
Right, that would be David Pillay.
Perfect, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reed. Commissioner Horowitz, you have a question? And I see Commissioner Ahmad as well.
Yes. Thank you, Chair Jones. So first off, I'm really excited that you've been able to reopen, and it sounds like, after a little bit of time, people are really starting to take advantage of these services. Obviously, if they're anything like me, they've missed the ability to get out and see people and stretch and actually feel some sunshine on their faces after 2 years of feeling kind of cooped up. So so excited to hear this, and I know my family is one of those that actually took advantage of the pool being open. We took my 5-year-old to the pool every weekend during the summer,
where he proceeded to give us a heart attack because he's only 5 and doesn't want to wear floaties and thinks he can swim, which he cannot. So it was such a great opportunity to have there, and the team on the lifeguard staff is always so good at watching everybody and keeping us all safe. So thank you so much for that. I did have one question, and I'm hoping that there's a good answer, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask it. And that's with the return to team programming and adult sports. Have there been any reports of people contracting COVID or COVID spreading among people who participated in any of the activities?
So, referring to the adult sports, well, first off, with the adult sports, we're relying on them to communicate to us if when their participants contact or test positive for COVID. But I have to be honest with you, it has been pretty minimal. I mean, the only program I can say that we've heard of a few cases might have been in the adult basketball league. And basically what we've done with that is once they've contacted us and let us know, we've informed the teams, that they might have been exposed. But other than that, I mean, we haven't heard too many cases with the adult sports. Youth sports, it's been a little bit more challenging. As Dion touched on earlier, we had to make the decision to eliminate practices during the week. We've had cases where, with our junior MBA program, we made a decision to postpone it a week. And one of the reasons for that is because we had a few the coaches testing positive. And we're just thankful that the coaches let us know. And then, our protocol is once they test positive, we notify the parents and the team and let them know. But it's been adult sports haven't heard so much. Youth sport, the junior MBA, it's been one of our biggest challenges. Is filtering through all of that. Treading the water with all of that.
Commissioner Ahmad, go right ahead.
Commissioner Ahmad, I think we're having a hard time hearing you. It's a little better. We can hear you now. It's a little low, but definitely better than before. Thank you.
I will. Yes, can fluid. So had
Yes, we currently contact one instructor, Dave Brooks.
a so you're working and but it,
I can speak to that a little bit. I know our environmental services division actually does organize the Earth Day event, and they solicit vendors and including other city departments. And so it's something that they've been doing for several years now, and their goal is absolutely to try to target having a zero waste event. So it grows every year. We've had to have it delayed or canceled for the past 2 years because of COVID, but I know that they're continually incorporating new partners and new information.
make it
I'd have to, reach out to the environmental staff. I know that they work with their own commission and funding for the event. So we just have to get more information from them. They're kind of the lead on this.
Yeah, and I do know that generally some of the vendors that we've had in the past are very environmentally conscious. They're looking at local vendors that use all natural products, and therefore like if they are handing things out, that it actually that they are either recyclable type materials and not just general trash. That is something that they do ask of when they do put out for the bid for vendor.
I would
I'm sorry, did you ask for, is there a 1-day pass for participants? Yeah, we do have those that we can give out to anybody who wants to come in for 1 day to check it out.
Well, I guess they have they have
Only at the rec center.
Commissioner Schatzel, go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to apologize to Commissioner Reed. It was my dog that was barking. So sorry. I wanted to compliment staff. This has been a miserable time for the Parks and Recreation business anywhere. Do you do a program? Do you not do a program? Do you do it indoors? Do you do it outdoors? Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? Placer County has these rules. El Dorado County has these rules. Yolo County has these rules. Do you offer a program? Is anybody going to sign up? Do we do it virtual? Stop, start. And I think our staff has demonstrated their determination, their professionalism, just their doggedness to get something done for the people in this community and the kids in this community. And I think the reports you made and the numbers were, given all of the factors, were terrific. And I think it says a lot about the staff. So well done. Good for you guys.
Thank you, commissioners. I think everyone touched on some of the thoughts I had, particularly Commissioner Schatzel. I know just based on one of those first slides that I imagine, you know, it even comes down to revenue generation now, being as numbers are what, a third of what they were prior to the pandemic. So I know that's got to be a struggle and a strain on being understaffed, keeping programs alive. So I just wanted to also compliment everybody on their efforts, because I feel as though once this pandemic finally, you know, settles to a point at which we have a new normal or some sense of pre-pandemic lifestyle, that people will slowly kind of begin to come out and feel comfortable and get back to you know, their routines. And I'm hoping at that point, you know, we'll start to see numbers. But I know the community definitely values the rec center, so I don't want those numbers to discourage anybody, because I know that the word in the community is certainly speaks highly of it. So I think it's just another ancillary effect of what we're all going through. So thank you so much for everybody, your efforts, and keeping it clean, keeping it open, and then of course all the programming they provide. So thanks so much. All right, I don't see any other comments, and thank you for the presentation as well.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 3, which is, looks like some housekeeping, which is consideration of approval of the minutes for the December 7th, 2021 regular meeting. So do we have a, there you are. Do we have someone who would like to motion to approve the minutes, and then we'll have the city clerk take roll?
I think we have to ask if there are any corrections.
You are correct. Assuming there are no corrections, does anyone have any corrections?
Hey, I move adoption of the minutes.
I'll second.
All right, Katie, we have Vice Chair Reed motioning to approve, and Commissioner Schatzel seconding.
Thank you. Commissioner Ahmad?
We can't hear you, Commissioner.
Yes, yes, I.
Thanks. Got it. Commissioner Altamirano?
Aye.
Commissioner Horowitz?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reed?
Aye.
Commissioner Schatzel?
Aye.
And Chair Jans?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me jump back here. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, which is on our regular agenda, presentation to announce the availability of funding regarding the 2022 annual action plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program. You have the floor.
Good evening. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, good. Good evening, Chairperson Jans and members of the commission. My name is Isaiah Alford, and I'm the Community Investment Specialist in the Economic Development and Housing Department. The purpose of this presentation is to announce the availability of CDBG funding. After the presentation, staff requests commission to provide comment regarding goals and activities for 2022 CDBG funding. In 2016, the city of West Sacramento became an entitlement jurisdiction, which enabled the city to receive funding directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. A requirement of the CDBG program is to develop a consolidated plan which must occur every 5 years. The 5-year consolidated plan must examine the needs of low-income persons and neighborhood. CDBG funds must be used to address one of 3 national objectives. And the city must develop an annual action plan, which allocates CDBG funds for activities to achieve goals in the 5-year consolidated plan. The first national objective benefits low and moderate income households. The second is the prevention or elimination of slums and blight. The third national objective is the urgent need, which is something unexpected, such as a tornado or a flood. It is important to note that 70% of the jurisdiction allocation must be used to benefit low to moderate income households. The CDBG program is a strict funding source, but allows entitlement jurisdictions to use money for a wide range of activities. These activities can be acquisition and rehab of affordable housing, construction and rehab of public facilities and public infrastructure. Economic development activities are also eligible for assistance under the CDBG program. These activities can also include homeless youth and senior programs. It's also important to note that any service activities are capped at 15% of the total allocation for any given year. The 2021 through 2025 consolidated plan was approved by City Council in April 2021. Here are the 6 goals that were approved by City Council. Goal number 1 addresses homelessness, which has been a key focus of the council strategic plan for the past 5 years. Goal number 2 addresses homelessness by creating housing opportunities. Goal number 3 is to provide infrastructure improvements in neighborhoods suffering from disinvestment. Goal number 4 is to provide fair housing, education, and counseling services to low and moderate income households and landlords. Goal number 5 is to support small businesses by strengthening economic opportunities for small businesses and employment. And the last goal is goal number 6, which is the preservation of affordable housing stock to provide housing rehab funding for single-family units. These goals represent the needs that were identified during the consolidated plan process. However, not all goals will be achieved nor funded with CDBG funds only. So here are some activities that were previously funded by CDBG funds. In 2016, the CDBG funds were used for design improvements to a section of the Riverwalk Trail extension known as the North Riverwalk Trail Extension Project, and this connects to the I Street Bridge. In 2019 and 2020, the city funded ENF Street Improvement Project, which was to improve pedestrian safety and accessibility, as well as address complaints regarding sidewalk improvements for the disabled. The city committed 2017 and 2018 CDBG allocations to support the development of an 85-unit permanent supportive housing project that was specifically targeted homeless individuals with serious mental illness or those at risk of chronic homelessness. This project was completed in December 2021, and as of now, it's 100% occupied. In 2019, $60,000 was allocated to fund a micro enterprise technical assistance program for low to moderate income individuals owning or working towards developing a small business in West Sacramento. A consultant has been secured to administer the program and is expected to begin within the next couple of months. And finally, fair housing services have been funded $21,000 every year of the current and previous consolidated plan. So how are activities selected? Not all eligible projects are good uses for CDBG funds due to federal regulations and requirements. Staff attempts to be strategic and use CDBG funds on projects that are ready to move forward and will not expend an undue amount to meet federal requirements and regulations. So we typically use CDBG funds to leverage other private, state, and local funding sources and federal sources as well. For example, the PSH project that I previously mentioned, It used CDBG funds. It leveraged CDBG funds to obtain over $30 million in private, state, and federal funding. So HUD has not yet announced the CDBG allocations for 2022, but it is likely that the city will receive an amount similar to the previous year's allocation of $502,540 for the 2021 annual action plan. So here's the schedule that we've been using for the 2022 annual action plan. The first steps was to attend the EDH commission, which we did last week. And now today we were supposed to attend the Parks Commission. With recommendation received from both commissions, staff will formulate the 2022 annual action plan draft. And we'll make this draft available for a 30-day public comment period. And staff plans on presenting before the city council to receive comments based on the draft that we have. And then we plan on going back to the city council for approval of and adopting the 2022 annual action plan. So this concludes my presentation. Staff, like I mentioned before, staff requests that the commission prioritize goals and potential activities for 2022 CDBG funding. Thank you for your time, and Raul and I are open for questions and comments.
Thank you, Isaiah. Appreciated. Vice Chair Reed, you have a comment?
Yes, thank you very much, Isaiah, for the presentation. And I want to compliment the staff. As always, we have a terrific staff. Thinking strategically about how to leverage these opportunities to maximize the benefit to our community is really one of your strengths, and among many. So thank you for that. I am going to be a one note for a while on climate change and climate action. But and in terms of priorities, always committed to doing what we can for our homeless population and the movement of them, out of the streets and encampments and into comfortable housing where they receive wraparound services and adequate food and hopefully some access to job training and that will help them get on their way to a sustainable lifestyle. That being said, I noted the effort to increase and support small businesses, which are an important element of job availability in our community. We are a community of small businesses to a great extent. And again, asking that we be mindful of the climate change crisis and the importance of, first of all, the opportunities that are generated by that in terms of new business and business services that are related to climate change and adaptation, whether it's eco-friendly materials or products that help reduce the climate footprint of consumers and other businesses. And then to the extent that they have bricks and mortar locations, that those locations are also have the lowest carbon footprint and can operate with energy efficiency and alternative energy and have access to the resources and the financing that would enable them to do that. And those elements are also part of the strategy that's being incorporated into the climate action plan. So again, every opportunity that we have to lowering the carbon footprint of the city and within the city, I think, is another point of leverage for us and for the plans that we adopt. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Actually, I do, Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. This report is perfect timing. In the last couple of months, I've had a couple phone calls from people that are concerned that our community has a sizable population of people that would fall in the category of being the frail, elderly, not just a senior citizen, but they live in a mobile home or they live in a house, but they have a difficult time going up a ladder to replace a smoke detector or fixing an electric socket. And they struggle with things like that. And then when they call somebody in the big business or small business category, and actually, I just had this experience last week. There's an electrician, a local electrician working on a house next to me. I called her office. I asked them, can you come over and look at something? And they said the minimum call out price is $200 just to look and tell me what might be the problem. Now, I could have done that. I didn't, but we have a lot of people in town that they can't pay $200 just to have somebody tell them what's wrong with their light socket, or their smoke detector, or maybe, something like that. I think we have a population that really needs some help there. And then another concern that falls into that same age group is there's just some concern about PG&E rates going up, and in the winter you have to have heat, in the summer you have to have air conditioning, or their health is in danger. So I'm just wondering if this is a good time for CDBG to try to look at that, given how it might support small business, how it might support the populations that fall into this category, into the areas that CDBG can help through our senior center. Because we do have based on the input I've received anyway, that we have a lot of people that need help, but they're not homeless. They're very small fixed income, and they just sometimes physically need some help. Can somebody mow my lawn? Can somebody fix a window? Just stuff like that. Maybe the CDBG program and staff can help that population in town. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks.
Thank you. So we do offer, we do try to analyze services when we're doing these allocations and looking at different activities. The only problem is the services are capped at 15%. So it's very limited. The CDBG, even though it's geared towards the low and moderate income individuals, it's a very strict funding source. So services are capped at 15%. So we have to be mindful on which services we're using. In fact, the 15% that we plan on using for the 2022 annual action plan, one of the activities that we potentially might fund is the home key services, and putting those services to generate for goal number 1, which is addresses homelessness. So yeah, we definitely will look at all services and see which ones are more valuable that assist the community as a whole.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I think that is a population in town that I think we can sometimes forget about, and
Right.
they're by themselves, and they're not always going to call for emergency help or anything like that. But if there's a way we can help them, I think it's part of our town. It's part of our community that if we can take a look at it, that would be great. Thanks for looking. Thanks for considering it.
Commissioner Ahmad?
Can someone that they could put it, I see those and within the so in fact they the big in my old damage so I think they put it so I and my concerns you'll have can't get and they want attention is yeah and the other yeah oh to say
Thank you, Commissioner Ahmad. I'm Raul Huerta. I'm the housing manager in the Economic Development and Housing Department. I think Isaiah is back. We lost him for a few minutes. I think he lost his connection. But I think I also got most of what you were asking. I'm sorry, it's a little bit difficult to hear. But I think you were echoing what Commissioner Shato mentioned in terms of assistance for especially some of our elderly and lower income households in terms of emergency repairs, energy efficiency repairs, things of that nature. So we will definitely make a note of that. What I can tell you is that in the past, the city has had residential rehab programs, not necessarily funded with CDBG, but we have had those in the past where we provide either very low interest loans or grants, emergency grants to some of our residents to do those types of repairs and improvement. We haven't had a program in a few years, primarily due to funding, but that's something that we will definitely take in mind and into consideration as we're formulating the draft for the 2022 funds that are going to become available. Thank you.
Vice Chair Reed.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments, John, and I have a couple of recommendations. I'll try to make it short. West Sacramento is a livable city or an age-friendly city. We've actually adopted a plan that's full of strategies that address that issue, and so that's something to revisit in terms of what is contained in that plan and what are some of the goals that we had when we developed that program. It was developed prior to my joining the commission, but it stands as one of the documents of our overall city strategy. And in addition, in February of 2021, the city adopted a resolution declaring West Sacramento a compassionate city. And there's a lot that goes along with that I explain it another time, but what it means is that compassion needs to be encumbered in all of our and considered in all of the policies that we make as a city, and that we are always mindful of compassion for our fellow residents and making it easy for them to enjoy a quality life. So again, that's a criteria or a guideline, a principle of the actions that we take and the expenditures that we make as a city. Within that foundation and the group that I belong to that advocated for that resolution to be adopted are a number of the nonprofit organizations that function in this city that you're all familiar with. And one of the goals of our group is to have those, the various organizations, including the faith-based community, to collaborate and offer mutual support within the good work that they all do. And we're trying to recognize those actions and have people appreciate the work that's being done by those various organizations, but also have them collaborate and cooperate so that for each one, what they do, the impact is amplified by the support that they receive from the other organizations. Within that is the need of our homeless folks, and the food security issue, as well as isolation and loneliness and aging and disability. So there are a couple of programs, one that is regional but may be going out of business. COVID really did it in. It was the Community Services Sacramento organization, and what that was is it's a credit-based program where people provide service to each other depending upon the skills that they have to offer. So if you're an electrician, you know, you could go in and do something minor. It's not major services, but it's transportation, running an errand, picking something up, getting groceries for someone, getting them to a medical appointment, or, you know, the repair a fence. So a lot of retired folks that have those skills that wanted to apply them belong and exchange their skills. But there's another concept that's called the village concept, and that's where it's a mutual assistance organization, and it has mostly been directed at the aging population. The reason I like the community services is that it's more intergenerational than the village model has been. And so I would like to see, what I'm proposing is they start as volunteer organizations, and therefore they're difficult to maintain and to scale up to a point where they can be sustained. However, in the master plan for aging that was just adopted by the state last year, and the complementary budget that goes with that, there is some money for organizing village. And all of the village concept is now expanded to be intergenerational, because the sustainability of the organization was like people die, members die, and they don't have a pipeline that's coming into the system. So the intergenerational outreach is expanding within the movement, which is not only statewide but also national. So I would ask staff to explore some of the opportunities that are presented by these models, because really what happens is that you get people sign up as volunteers. So it's not heavy staffing, but there is some basic administration and coordination that goes along with it. So I have a lot of information on these topics, and so I'm not going to go into it now, but that's a concept that I'm happy to talk to anybody that's interested in about, and provide the information that I have and the connections that I have that would enable us to explore if we can establish something like that within West Sacramento to serve our isolated, aging, and disabled population. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We will definitely consider that. Just briefly, something like that would probably fall under the services category that Isaiah mentioned previously. We do have a cap as to how much we can allocate to services, and we would have to make sure that there is a direct benefit to low-income residents. But certainly something that we can explore to see if it's something that may be workable under a future services program.
Well, even and you know, I'm saying it's something the city should pursue. We have a first-rate grab funds, get grants, secure money staff here. So without violating the 15%, I don't know that that source of money has to be the source of a support funding for the kind of enterprise that we're talking about. But I can vouch for the fact that the population is aging. And so the baby boomers have arrived. So it is a good segment of our population. And there's something we can do about it if we work together and are creative and leverage the resources that we have access to. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I have just a really quick question. I know we're approaching 7:30. Is there any way to tie in any of these funds to, it's not a service, but it's, I guess, more of a program for, folks experiencing homelessness or need job training, things like that. But it's the downtown street team. Is there any way to inject any funding directly to the West Sacramento division of the downtown streets team? That's kind of a homelessness program that's going on right now.
So we generally use Measure E local funds to support the downtown streets team. I actually brought this up to Raul, but yeah, Raul, please elaborate even more. But I believe Measure E is the strict funding that we use for downtown streets team, even though it does support homeless individuals.
That's completely right, Isaiah, Chair. Yes, I mean, it would be an eligible activity under CDBG. As you noted, we've had a downtown streets team now. This is, I believe, the 4th year of the program. And historically, that program has been funded with Measure E funds, our local funds. If you may be aware that a portion of the Measure E funds are specifically targeted for homeless initiatives in the city, and that's the portion of the funding that we are using for downtown streets team. And that's one of the reasons why we have not looked at funding DST with some of our CDBG funds. The other thing that I wanted to note is that recently the city requested matching funds to the county to help us pay for that DST program for the next 3 years. And we specifically requested some of the ARP funds that the county has received or will be receiving. And the board recently approved that allocation. So moving forward, the county will share 50% of the cost for the DST program for the next 3 years. But we have, as Isaiah noted earlier, allocated quite a bit of CDBG funds for homeless initiatives. He mentioned the permanent supportive housing project that just completed back in December. That's 85 units of permanent supportive housing. They are all receiving those wraparound services that many of you have discussed to make sure that they can remain housed and they can get the skills that they need for self-sufficiency. In 2020, CDBG funds were also allocated for the acquisition of the 40-unit Roadway Inn motel along West Capitol Avenue. That is being used as interim housing for homeless. And they are also receiving wraparound services, again, to get them to self-sufficiency and transition them into permanent housing alternative. A lot of those individuals that initially moved into the Home Key program transitioned over to the permanent supportive housing project that just opened back in December. But the case managers work with them to make sure that they find other permanent housing alternatives. The city allocated just over 1.2 million of CDBG funds for the acquisition of the Roadway Inn, in addition to other state and local funds. Some Measure E funds were also used for that acquisition.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you both for the presentation. Commissioner.
Sorry, I just wanted to pile on a little more to Commissioner Ahmad and Commissioner Reed's comments, because with respect to the frail elderly and the CDBG money also strives to keep people in their home and strives to keep people from being homeless. So that we might be able to, especially with county support now, use some of the Measure E money to do that, to help folks in town, has been expressed by the commissioners. And so I just wanted to add that one final comment. You know, we also want to keep people from being homeless because they can't take care of their home. And as Commissioner Ahmad said, then they have to sell. And then you feel like dominoes start falling in a very negative direction. So maybe the CDBG can help in that direction. So thank you.
I will thank you, commissioners, for your comments and questions, and thank you both for the presentation on this, and for again always finding funding and putting it to good use. Much appreciated. All right, let me move on here. All right, moving on to our item. We're on item number 5, I believe. Consideration of resolution 21-1, setting the time and date for the 2022 regular meeting of the Parks, Recreational, and Intergenerational Services Commission. Katie, this has your name on it, or am I supposed to suggest a time?
I apologize, I did not get with you beforehand. If you just want to relay the dates that are set so everyone can agree on those, then we'll take a vote.
Okay. I'll have to look at the dates, but we've been meeting, basically the way I remember it is every even month of the calendar year, on the first Tuesday of that month. So looking forward, that would be
I'm pulling them
April,
up right now.
yeah, April 5th, June 7th. Wait, August is an even month. August 2nd, October 4th, and December 6th. That would be the first Tuesday of all the even months. Does anybody have any comment or suggestions, or does that work for everybody?
And Chair Jans, it also includes the first meeting in February of 2023, so that we have the first meeting of the year set. So it includes February 7th as well.
Which is also the first Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. Does anybody oppose continuing with our current schedule? That conflict? Anybody have conflicts? Okay. I see a lot of thumbs up. I don't see any opposition. So if someone would like to motion to select the dates that we discuss, which again is the first Tuesday of all the even month, including the first Tuesday of the 2023 February calendar date, which was, did you say the 7th, Tracy? Sorry. Or I guess it would be the 6th.
It's February 7th of 2023.
I'm glad. I move that we adopt a resolution declaring those dates our regular meeting date for 2022 and the beginning of 2023.
I'll second.
All right, Katie, Vice Chair Reed motioned, and Commissioner Horowitz second.
Thank you. Go through the roll call vote for Commissioner Ahmad.
We didn't hear you. I think she needs a verbal, if possible.
I
Got it.
Got it. Commissioner Altamirano,
Aye.
Commissioner Horowitz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaffel,
Aye. I mean, does that mean we're already talking about 2023? We should start setting up for Christmas? that what that means?
And Chair Jans.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just for quick clarification, the term of the current commissioners will extend into the February 2023. Is that correct? Or when do the nominations or the elections go out again? It's a 2-year commitment, correct?
I can definitely get back with you on that. I will need to check with the city clerk's office to confirm the actual date.
Okay.
It is a 2 year.
Okay. So I believe that the nominations and selections would actually occur prior to the February 2023, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Okay, so moving on, we have item number 6, which is the director's report.
Thank you,
6A.
Chair.
Let me clarify 6A.
Thank you, Chair Jans and members of the commission. It feels weird on February 1st. Happy New Year to you all, but this is the first time I've seen some of you. And I have quite a lot to report. A lot of great updates. First on staffing. I did want to formally introduce Jason Popolo. I know he was introduced briefly at the beginning of the meeting, but we're really excited to have him on our team. He comes to us from the East Coast. I'm sure he's very happy he's on the West Coast now. Worked in a similar capacity for multiple jurisdictions back there, and we're really excited about his athletic field expertise. He's already starting to implement some new protocols, and we've got some new equipment that we know we need to purchase. And so we'll be sharing more with you in the future about that, but really excited to have him on our team. And as we say hello to Jason, we unfortunately say goodbye to Katie Dyke, who after over 3 years on our team has been promoted to the administrative clerk 2 position in the city clerk's office. So she moves upstairs to the 3rd floor. She started in her new role actually in December, but is graciously helping us out by clerking our commission meetings as we work to get her former position filled. So thank you, Katie, for being a stellar part of our Parks and Rec team. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us that we wish you all the best in your new professional adventure. I also wanted to announce that in December, Greg Daniels, who's a longtime parks worker, retired from the city. And so we're currently working to backfill his position. He was a chief parks and grounds worker. I wanted to share that some of you may have already heard about this, but with the high winds today, we had a large oak tree at Willie DePrado Park, which is formerly Circle Park, fall over. We're working with one of our tree contractors to remove the tree and assess the damage. And we appreciate all of the residents who've been impacted so far, their graciousness and their patience as we work to resolve the situation. Some of you may have already heard about this in our newsletter and social media, but right after the Parks Commission meeting in December of last year, we heard from state parks that we were awarded $2.8 million from the Prop 68 statewide park program for Westacre Park expansion renovation. A huge win for us, a huge win for the community, because it includes a complete renovation of the park, a new and improved skate park, a bicycle pump track, a splash pad, which will be the first splash pad, the water feature that we have on the north side of town, a new playground with safety surfacing and shade, new basketball multi-use sports courts, walking loops, a lot of seating and shade and other amenities to support use for park users of all ages, and a public restroom, which I know is really needed at that site because we use it for a lot of athletic programming. So we're really excited to launch that project. We have a lot of work to do, and the project needs to be completed by March of 2025. So we'll be back in front of this commission in the very near future with information on our continued park design and bid process, And, the designs we have right now are conceptual designs, so we're going to have to refine those quite a bit before we can go out to bid. So we're super excited about that. Also, our Prop 68 Community and Economic Enhancement Program, the grant program, which was administered by the Delta Conservancy, were awarded over $350,000 for the Southport Levee Planning and Design Project. That's looking at planning the paving of the top of the levee and any support amenities that we can build into those plans immediately off the levee to support use of that levee trail. And we launched that effort last week with an internal meeting that had staff from multiple departments that worked to start identifying background data available, discuss the schedule, and also discuss stakeholders to include in the process. We know there are a lot of stakeholder groups, West Safeca, RD900, Westra. I'm sure many more, our active aging community, AARP representatives. If you as commissioners have any suggestions for organizations or representatives that we should reach out to invite to be part of a stakeholder engagement process, please shoot me an email or give me a call, let me know. And then also, I just wanted to report that we have a lot of upcoming projects and programs. So the City Council approved Part 2 of our biannual budget right the day after the last Parks Commission meeting on December 8th, and it included funding for many Parks CIP projects. Over $9.3 million of funding for Bright Park master plan improvements at the rec center. As Chris Froschhaug mentioned, lighting for the tennis courts, which really will help to expand our programming. Even though we have one contracted tennis coach, we're really limited by how much time we can access the courts because of the joint use with the high school. So having the expanded hours will be a huge help. Being able to improve and open the tennis courts at Bright Park will be another big win for the community. And maybe potentially even courts at West Acre Park as part of that project. We're also getting ready to replaster the leisure pool, make some repairs to the slides at the rec center. So a lot of great stuff happening there. A new outdoor classroom for Club West and Patwin Park improvements, including replacing some of the dated play equipment, adding shade features and seating, and renovating the basketball court. So that's just a few. Those are just the highlights. And then I also wanted to mention we have our summer concert series gearing up. We received funding for 4 concerts beginning in May. They'll be the 4th Thursday of the month. And we have staff working with some members of the community to help select the performers. Auditions take place next week, and I'm sure we're going to have some great band selections for the event. And then pending grant applications, we have Prop 68 Rural Recreation and Tourism Grant Program, a $3 million application for Heritage Oaks Park. We also have the Land and Water Conservation Fund Grant Program, another $3 million request for Heritage Oaks Park. That was the only park site that qualified. We have to own it in order to be able to record a mandatory in perpetuity park easement over the site. And so it was a really good fit for that program, and we had just wrapped up all the community engagement and design work. The Bees Lakes project, we have 2 grant applications pending totaling $2 million for both habitat restoration and public access improvements. And we're still waiting to hear on the Prop 68 outdoor equity program for funding for youth outdoor programs. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Tracy. Just for clarification, the and forgive me, but was it Prop 68 that we were awarded 7.8 million? Is that, and did you say that was applied for West Acre Park? Is that right?
Correct.
So 100% of that will be used for West Acre?
Yes, we submitted 2 applications. One was for West Acre Park and one was for the Fallbrook campus to renovate the play fields at Westmore Oaks to make that available for public use in the after school hours and on weekends and during the summer. We were not awarded any grant funding for that project, but we received full funding for West Acre Park, which was almost 7.9 million, like 7.843 million.
Fantastic. I don't mean to jump in first. I don't usually do that, but just on that note, what I said at the beginning, about not only city staff and their ability to obtain funding, which is amazing. I mean, I should stop being surprised at this point, but I'm always continually surprised at what you're able to accomplish, and not only getting it, but also being able to find areas like you just mentioned, Heritage Oaks being this specific piece of land that fits right into that puzzle piece for this specific grant. I think the precision that city staff has in being able to identify areas and grants and those types of things is really stellar. So congratulations to the city and thank you for the effort there. And then the second thing is that I think I mentioned in the beginning was the fun of this commission. And part of that is I believe I'm in my fourth year now, maybe. This is the beginning of my fourth year. I think Vice Chair Reed and I have been on for about the same amount of time. So is that 4 years? Yeah.
Yep.
So and as well as Commissioner Ahmad. What's exciting is, number one, I'm super excited about being able to see the West Acre plan. I think that's going to be really fun. But then you get to see some of these things that we've talked about over the last 2 or 3 years start to kind of come to fruition, right? So you've got the Bees Lake project. Looks like it's starting to kind of get some footing. And I apologize that you mentioned another one that we had talked about in the past that's now also getting some attention and starting to come to life. Again, I think I mentioned it's kind of rewarding to be a part of those things, and these are examples of that, right? So that's my point with all that. So thank you again for all your efforts. Katie, we'll miss you, and thank you for helping me get organized with these meetings. And everything that you've done for us. That's all that I have. Commissioners, do you have any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead.
Oh, thank you. Just again, thank you to Katie too. Katie, please train the person who takes your place to do my agendas and leave them downstairs at City Hall for me. That would. That's important to me. Thank you very much. I happen to be at Summerfield Park tonight. Sorry?
I'm sorry. I said it is in the notes with an asterisk.
Thanks. I happen to be at Summerfield Park, and 2 guys were on their bikes on the pathway. And just to share that one of them said to the other, "Wow, they redid this pathway. This is really cool." So good for you, staff, for doing the pathway. That it is a nice pathway and it needed to be done. So good for you. Having said that, now the tennis program at River City is spectacular. And Dave Brooks has been out there forever. And he's won high school championships, girls, boys, section championships. It is not just, a regular old tennis program. But now that we have tennis court light, or will have them, I have to ask the money question. Who's paying the PG&E?
Well, those utility costs will be borne by the city because the school district normally splits costs for improvements that are necessary for their programming. They did not need evening programming. And so the city is picking up the costs for the improvements. Are built into a solar program with the school district for that site. So significant cost savings, and the new lights will be LED lights. So we don't have an exact cost of what the ongoing annual expense will be, but we think it's pretty reasonable, and we think that it's worth the benefit that we'll receive by having them.
For sure. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Mott, and I apologize, Sasha. I forgot you've been on this commission for, I believe, the same amount of time as the rest of us. So I apologize for.
But so much of that was as an alternate, so I only get half credit.
Okay. Commissioner Ahmad, go right ahead.
I also I preschool. I thought it and yeah, uh, okay, that would be important to all. I feel like I echo what you said about like like with our than other places. So
Well, Chair Jans, I know skipped over Jason's introduction very quickly, and you had a chance to see him. But I just wanted to make sure that Jason had a chance to say hello to you all before we sign off tonight.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you for all the kind words and introductions, Chairman Jans and Tracy. It's been awesome just in my short time here. Like Tracy said, I'm coming from the East Coast, and after seeing what my friends are dealing with back there, it's definitely welcomed being in this warmer, sunny weather than the frigid Northeast. I'm just still so excited and happy to be around. Everyone's been so welcoming and warm, and I'm so excited to get to keep moving ahead with things and improve the parks as much as we can. I know there's a lot of things we can do, make little tweaks and stuff like that on just what great work has been done already. But I do see that there's a lot of room for improvement that will help the safety and the users and just all around the whole community. So it's going to be great. I know I'm working with Tracy already on a couple things that'll really make some great improvements. So yeah, I'm just all over just happy to be here. So I'm more than happy to meet with anybody offline from this. So make sure you reach out to either me or Tracy for contact information or for whatever you need. I'm always available and always want to be there to help out and answer some questions or do whatever I can. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jason. We're excited to have you.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so I think I told you I have some family on the East Coast, or my wife's family, and been in communication with her cousin who in Portsmouth right now, and they've got a wicked blizzard going on over there. So anyway, yeah. So it's but see that what you're experiencing right now is cold for us, right? Like today was cold.
I'll take that. I'm still the weird one walking around in this short sleeve shirt, so it's nice for me.
All right. Let's see. I believe. So item 6B. We'll move on to item 6B, which is any future items requested for the scope of this commission for any future agenda items or discussions. Does anyone have anything? Commissioner Ahmad?
Yeah. I on events that I don't kind of guess
Not to put too much pressure on Jason, but I'm really excited to get his plan for our parks and our fields. I know that's I think Tracy mentioned that would be forthcoming equipment and things like that. So I would definitely like to hear your thoughts on that, both from a commission standpoint and from my involvement with my kids' sports and things like that. So just being able to communicate with you, if I hear things from other families or players or whatever like that, I can share those thoughts with you as well. So I think that's coming, but I think Tracy mentioned it was coming, but I'm certainly eager to see that when it's ready.
Yeah, I'd like to put something together for the commission over the next few meetings to just kind of share a little bit more on the educational side of things we need to do to improve and adjustments we need to make to either programming or scheduling or just all around what our long-term plan is. So people can understand it and grasp it a little bit more and understand that there is, it doesn't happen overnight. There is a timeline to this type of stuff. It's it's nature that we're dealing with, and it's not always the most forgiving in this area. So yeah, I look forward to that too. I've already been putting together some notes and plan on putting something together for the commission to just learn a little bit more and to be able to ask more questions as more things come up. But by all means, if anything comes up in the meantime, reach out, let me know. Chairman Jans, it's my pleasure to work with you and everything that you're helping us out too a lot with your group with Little League. So whatever I can do to help everyone, just let me know.
Thank you. Any other requests? All right. Seeing none, we will move to 6C, which is to adjourn meeting. It's 7:59 p.m. We have a motion to adjourn the February 1st meeting.
So moved.
Motion.
Everybody.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll let you do the honors since it's the last time.
Doesn't want to do it.
No.
Katie, can you call the roll?
I was speaking and I was muted. I want to thank everyone for this experience. The people have made it what it has been, which has been amazing. And I've learned so much. And I'm looking forward to what's to come. So thank you all so much, from Tracy to commissioners to department supervisors and coworkers. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. Commissioner Ahmad.
I
I see you. Thank you. Got it. Commissioner Altamirano.
Aye.
Commissioner Horowitz. Verbal.
We may have lost. Oh, there he is.
You get my eye?
Thank you. Got it. Vice Chair Reese.
Aye.
Commissioner Schatzel.
Aye.
And Chair Jans.
Aye. Good luck on your new adventure.
Thank you. I will see you guys again. I'll be training the next person, hopefully. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Good night, everyone.